Okay, this is a sort of a conclusion to this Vega Selena or Vega Selena radio. I can't find any setup information on it, but I'll basically show you what I've done. The AM I'm not touching because the performance of the AM is excellent. It's really sensitive, but the FM was appalling. It really was bad. This is the FM module underneath, and all I've done is, because bear in mind I'm doing this by sort of experience and a bit of guesswork. L4 I've set as the local oscillator, and I've set the local oscillator to a known frequency. Now the scale linearity is poor on this radio, and I need to investigate that further, but bear in mind this radio had no sensitivity at all. Just the local oscillator to a set frequency, something like 88, 90 megahertz. Use that to set the local oscillator. Go up to 108 and find it on the scale. As I say, the scale linearity is poor. Adjust this trimming capacitor here for maximum sensitivity, which is a sort of normal thing you do on any radio. And the rest of these coils I'm treating as RF amplifier coils, and also sort of like coupling coils. So I tune to mid-range and adjust all these coils for maximum gain. I did that, and the set improved slightly, which I suppose I was fairly pleased with. And the next point, or you can normally, what you do is this stage first, and that's the IF alignment, and that's this, and that coil. Set them all for, you peak them at 10.7. It doesn't look like in previous previous models of this radio, you don't use sweep, you just peak them. Peak these coils for 10.7 to get the maximum gain out of F10.7. Move on to the discriminator. You don't need to adjust this coil. It's that's the balance coil. I didn't adjust that, and I did add a twiddle, see what it did. It makes no difference at all. Left it how it was. This is the one that has the main effect, and this is your FM discriminator, or I think the primary of the FM discriminator. So what I did with that is I tuned to modulated an AM signal and adjusted this for maximum AM rejection. That's a way you can do it. Bear in mind I've got no instructions, so it's open to sort of suggestion what to do with this. What you can also do is find a weak FM signal and adjust that for lowest distortion. You can do that with a signal generator and a distortion meter if you've got one, or you can do it by ear. By ear is absolutely fine. I think this is the secondary of the discriminator, and I couldn't actually move that one, so I'm not going to bother twiddling about with that. Now, where the huge improvement came along was these pots here. There's a couple of pots here, and one of them is actually on the discriminator, and that's the one you see on the left here with the red paint on it. I twiddled about with that and got a slight improvement with the distortion, but still wasn't great. And my meter was still showing half signal, whatever the signal rate level was. It was halfway up the scale. The one on the right, I didn't bother adjusting. This one here, you can just see here, I didn't bother adjusting that one because it made no difference. But this is the big game changer. I don't know what it does, and I haven't bothered looking. But it was tuned into a FM radio signal, and it was really distorted. And I tweaked this, and suddenly the signal meter dropped right the way back, and the sound quality just transformed. It had no distortion. So it's got to be something tied up with either AGC or maybe discriminator output. So what I've done is I tuned my Rogan Schwartz to 10.7, as you see it's modulating there, and fed it into the front end, which is basically this purple wire. Fed that in and gave me a 10.7. Adjusted this for minimum deflection on the meter, and the set works really well now. It's just such a huge change. And I'm not sure if someone's been in here and been twiddling about with it, but it's the sensitivity's just come up. And have a listen to this now. You see the signal meter's actually going to read properly now.
My heart
Discriminator looks like it's pretty well set, you know, when the minimum distortion signal's at full strength. I'm not sure about this AGC circuit, I need to look a bit further into that, but basically the FM's working pretty well actually. I'll probably have to do a scale alignment again, it's got excellent sound quality and it's just transformed it. So have a look at that. I mean, if anyone's got an alignment instruction out there, I really would like it, because Radio Cruncher sent me the schematics, and that's good. That's great. I've got the schematics printed out on A3 paper, but there's no alignment instruction, so I'm doing this by guesswork. Obviously, it's made a huge improvement, but what a great radio. It's a pity they're a bit flaky with the wiring here and there, but it's certainly performing. The FM's performing really well. And I'm wondering, a lot of people say that the FM performance on these is pretty poor. Was it ever aligned correctly in the first place? I mean, because the performance of this radio is working every bit as good as a hacker would in the workshop. So thanks for watching. I'm going to try and sort out the scale linearity, but I'm pretty happy how it is now. Thanks for watching.